How's it going, everyone? We're finally back with some skin picks. Thank you, everyone, for bearing with me. Still a lot of stuff going on, but our cat is doing a little bit better. We still don't know if it's cancer or not 100%. We just don't really have the money to do cat scans. Kind of funny, cat scan on the cat. But anyways, we've been treating her with some medications, and it seems to be doing quite well. She's gone back to eating and meowing and wanting love, so that's always a good sign. So thank you for all that. And then with all my family stuff, all that stuff still going on, you know, you get to a certain age, and people in your life get to a certain age, and it just becomes rough. So again, thank you so much, everyone, for all those kind wishes. Let's get into the video. Starting off, we've got a camo set for you, and it's some burlap. It is the Bush Camo version 2. And as you can see, it's much more detailed, and it definitely looks like it's made for like kind of the birch trees, kind of in this foresty kind of zone, and definitely a nice upgrade, I would say, for sure. Next, we've got some more banana for you with the bandana nana and the poncho nana. And there you have it. I mean, always a funny set, and it doesn't seem too many people are tired of this yet, so hey, they seem to sell pretty well when they pop into the shop, so we could see this one potentially this week. Then next up, we've got a huge upgrade to the Ghillie hoodie and pants set by Cubist, and as you can see, it's way more detailed. It just looks really nice. The Ghillie's also been toned down a little bit, so it doesn't look maybe as OP, kind of, in a way, but I mean, one way or another, it's still very green, and it would still blend into very good bushes and so forth. In the game, I could see a lot of people wanting this, as a fresh camo set would be a lot cheaper than buying the existing ones. Next up, we've got the Damascus hoodie and pants, and these have kind of a nice armored look to them, but not too much. I mean, it's still pretty obvious they are hoodie and pants, and not some kind of weird armor. We definitely had way more armored looking hoodies and pants sets make it in, and with the high qual set just making it in this last week, maybe this has a chance this week as well. Next up, we've got the Boy Scout set, and well, if it were to make it into game, they'd probably have to change it to like Rust Scout or something like that, because I'm pretty sure the Boy Scouts have Boy Scouts trademarked. If they don't, that'd be really weird. But one way or another, there you have it. A cool little theme. I like the little rust patches as well that go along in there with it. Definitely a fun one for sure. Next, we've got a continuation in the Apache set, and with this we've got our first clothing piece is the hoodie and pants, and they just look absolutely beautiful. I think they did an amazing job on the designs and the patterns, and I think it's pretty true to a lot of the Native American stuff I saw growing up in California, so that could very well be wrong on that, but definitely looks pretty cool, and like the little designs here on the back for sure. You've kind of got that mischievous face and so forth. Next, we've got a really crazy looking hoodie and pants set, the Mantis costume by Dark Schneider. And man, this whole thing kind of just looks like insect plating. It's very crazy looking. You even have these kind of like false eyes on the arms, and it's just absolutely crazy and creepy looking. You've got these kind of bug parts on the arms, and on the back, you have the big old mantis head on the hoodie, and some wings along the legs. Just altogether, it's a very unique looking set that a lot of effort definitely went into for sure. Next, we've got some gloves and boots for you, and well, they're actually leather gloves, and that doesn't mean Hulk's going to be accepting leather gloves again. He hasn't said anything about that, but it looks like people are trying because we've got a couple sets this week, and some other ones have been floating around. So you've got the special camo leather gloves, and to go along with the gloves, of course, some boots to match right along with the camo there. And as I mentioned, we have another set here of leather gloves, and it's the Bandito one. So as you can see, it has a nice little bull on the leather there, engraved in some steel, which is cool. And then we've got the matching boots down here with some steel bull tips with some nice carved leather as well. We do have a solo pair of boots today, and it is to go along with, of course, the Arctic Protection set. So, of course, these are the Arctic Protection shoes. So there you have that right there. I sure think a lot of people like these for the snow camo alone. Next, we've got the Vagabond hoodie, hood and cloak, not hoodie, hood and cloak. And the hood is actually a deer skull with the skull and everything else removed just to be a plain dark hood. And then you've got the Vagabond jacket here to go along as a cloak with it. So yeah, how do you guys feel about that? It's definitely a very plain look, but it's definitely something I can see a lot of people liking for the camo properties and just the neatness of it. We do have 2 other jackets for you to check out this week, and for this next one here is the Frontier jacket. It kind of has that nice, warm, cozy look to it, with some fur along the edges on the inside for sure. Definitely really has that nice Frontier look to it going on. And then we've got a very cool, unique looking jacket for you, the Unchained jacket by Vase. You've got this crazy little face, and then you've got all these different little plates along the chainmail. Got some palindrons, well, kind of 1.5. There's more of a symbol going on over here. Almost, it looks like the Avengers or Anarchy or something. I don't know what he's going for there. Definitely funny. But I think it's just a really cool set. Love that you can see what's underneath it, which is a very cool thing as well, because there's not a whole lot of skins that have that going on. Alright, next we can dive into our armor, and we've got the Sand Rhino version 2 of the Road Sign set. And as you can see, the whole thing's made more crusty and dirty to go along with the high qual that made it in. So maybe now that this has been updated to match it, we could see it popping into game this next week. Next, we've got a bunch of high qual sets for you this week, starting out with the Underdog Metal set. And I don't know what this really says about an Underdog, because this thing is like neon colored and bright. It definitely says like, I'm here, where I feel like an Underdog might not want to stand out so quick. But hey, you know what? Names aside, it's definitely a very awesome sculpted set for sure. Next, we have the Almighty set for you. And yeah, it definitely looks like it has some Norse kind of, I would say, inspiration behind it. The mask definitely reminds me of some kind of like cursed mask as well. It definitely has some very different looks to it. Not too many skins that really have this kind of vibe. So I could see if this popped in, a lot of people liking it just for how different it is. Next, we've got a continuation in the Recycler set from Chemo Legend, and as you can see, it is the high qual set. Definitely looks like it fits really well. Like, some panels were literally just taken off of a recycler and reforged into, or rehammered into some metal chest piece protection here, and then painted right with the same theme again. Next, we have a very glitzy looking set for you with the Pearlescent Metal set by Ariana. And as you can see here, it has just the kind of nice little cuts and curves, nothing really too symmetrical, and then it just glistens really beautifully with that pearlescent design. Definitely a very bright armor, and I could see the people who like Tempered and so forth liking this set if it makes well way into game. Next, we've got the Clay Soldier set by Weircat, and man, are they also clowns? Because the crying face looks like a crying clown face, but I just love this. This is absolutely hilarious. The whole clay look to it, and just the toy design, and then the sad clown. You got Clay Army back here. It's just definitely a very goofy but fun set for sure. Last but not least, we have our final high qual set for you this week, the Dragon Defense set by Hashaki. As you can see, you've got some dragons up here on the front. It almost looks like it is a locked doorway to something else. You've got some nice red leather straps going on. Same dragons back here. And then the face mask just kind of has a nice little simple design to focus on the dragons. Alright, this week we have a ton of deployables, so we're going to kind of try to sail through them, but first off we've got the Forest Stone sleeping bag. Has some nice little flowers in between the grass there going on. Then next up we've got the Contamination bag, and it just looks like a regular sleeping bag that has some trash on it, and then this crazy purple oily mess just taking it over. Then over here we have the Frontier Old Sleeping bag, definitely meant to go along with a nice look of old worn leather that just fits that Frontier pack, and you have a few little stars up front too to go along with that. Next we've got the Small Frog box, right with the frog set. I also love how he kind of has these hands like he's sitting there judging you with those judgy eyes and his little frog fingers. Next over here we have the Birch Storage box by Kivahu, and as you can see, it's just simply a box that looks like it's made out of birch branches. Then over here, we are moving on to our large boxes. The first one here is going to be the Scrap large box. This goes along with the Scrap rug that was in last week's picks as well. Definitely a very cool box that would make it very obvious of what its purpose was for. Moving on, we've got a very beautiful art one for you with the Koi Pond version 2. And this one's just been updated to be a lot more HD, and it just has a very nice glow that goes along with the glow version, which we'll show you here when we get to that part. Moving on, we've got ourselves another box for you, and this one is the Infection large box, continuing along with the Infection set. Moving on, we've got a corn furnace for you. Then we've got the Neon Vibes furnace, and you look at it and it's like, wait, what? This doesn't really have a whole lot going on. Well, once you see the neon vibes, you'll notice. Then over here we've got a shark for you with the Ice Shark, coming out of a nice kind of like icy waters, it looks like. Your last icy death. Then over here we've got a very kind of like medieval looking furnace with the jet exhaust furnace. Definitely looks like it's been blasted by some nasty fumes. And over here we've got a very evil looking anglerfish furnace for you. We've seen lots of different iterations of an anglerfish furnace. A few from Anathan, the same person here. And definitely, I'd say, the best looking one so far. Then over here we've got the lightning rod furnace, which kind of just looks like a kind of veiny rock. But once the lights turn on, you'll see something pretty cool. And last but not least for furnaces, we've got one more for you here. And this one's all icy. It is the Snow Zombie. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be spelled right, if it's meant to be zombie, or if I just don't know what zombie is, but hey, one way or another, I think it's some kind of crazy creature, because look, it's got these teeth and the eyes, and that's definitely a mouth, and there's lots of human skulls around it, so definitely interesting. Moving on, we have a concrete barricade for you, and it is a traffic barricade, definitely a very cool looking one. It just looks like those nice soft water-filled barricades that you might see on the highways, freeways, or roads and so forth. Definitely a simple but smart design. Then over here we've got ourselves a Frontier locker brought to us by Confusion, and as you can see it has a little, wear and tear. It definitely fits right into the Frontier set, and you can even see some of the wanted posters sitting right inside the middle there. Moving along, we've got rugs, and rugs. The first one is going to be this face punch rug here, and it is, well, simply the neutral rug. Moving along, we've got the Comfort Plus rug, the birch rug, damaged exposed stone rug, castle wall rug, ice rug, the desert dead rug. Really cool artwork on that one. And lastly, we've got some vines for you here with the Lanyas rug. So there it is. Moving on, we've also got a gun store Frontier themed vending machine for you. As you can see right here, definitely fits right in with that. You got the little wanted poster even on the front. And then if we turn right through the back, then moving on, we've got our sheet metal doors for you. Starting off here, we've got the Cutie Mood sheet metal door. So there you go. If you got a cutie mood going on, that would be the door for you. Then we've got a little more trippy one going on here with the Neon Mushroom door. Definitely has some cool shrooms and a very kind of torn up looking door there in the back. Next, we've got a continuation of the Pirate set with the Pirate sheet metal door. And it comes in two versions, a glow and a non-glow, which we'll show you here shortly. Then we're moving on to our garage doors, and we've got the very beautiful grass garage door in front of us. It just looks completely overgrown by some beautiful plants and just has a really nice look to it. Then we've got some neon for you with the Game Lover garage door. Then we've got a little more kind of rusty feel with the Safest garage door version 2 with a big old camera. And we've got some crazy art over here with the Exorcism garage door. Then we've got a couple armored doors for you this week with this first one here is the Radium armored door. Then over here we've got the Brutalist armored door. Nice continuation with that. As you can see, you can very much so see through it, both with the hatch closed and if you open the hatch, so craziness right there. Then we've got the Block Traffic armored door, which also has a little bit of peek going on around the hatch before you open it. And last but not least, a double armored door, the Cargo Heli version 2 double armored door. So then we'll go ahead and cruise around, take a look at the backs, because you can have two different sides, of course, to these. They're mostly the same for those, very different here on this one. And we'll go ahead and kill our lights here and take a look at our glows. Really like the lights on the side of that one. There's that pirate door. Vending machine doesn't have any kind of special glow, unfortunately. And then if we cruise all the way down here, there is a very nice faint glow to the locker. All right, let's check out our furnaces here. See what I mean about that lightning one? Definitely a very cool effect once it's turned on. Then you got the anglerfish's eyes and lure. You have vents going all the way around this one on the bottom, which is pretty cool. Then over here you pretty much have a standard very bright glow in the front, screaming shark. And then boom, there's that neon. Yeah, it doesn't even look like it. And then boom, it's just some lines, then at night, neon, neon, neon. Then the corn actually lights up pretty nicely as well, a whole glow all the way around itself. Then of course we've got our large boxes. I said that koi pond one definitely looks beautiful. And that does it for our glow, everyone. Alright, let's move on to our weapons and tools, and first up we have the welding hammer for you, which just looks like a bunch of metal pieces from rust welded on into a simple hammer. Then we've got a rat rock from you from Keck, the king of animal rocks. Very simple little friend that you can pat and love. Next we've got the amulet rock for you. Definitely has a very kind of smooth design to it. Moving on, we've got another kind of friend rock with the Patuka rock, and yeah, this thing is pretty scary looking, I do have to say. Moving on, we've got some tools for you, and it's the Armageddon set, and man, it has this really cool glow to the eye, and then you've got this cutout version where you can see through the teeth. And then, of course, the first question is, does it actually glow? And it doesn't. It just has a nice kind of look to it like it's a missive, but it won't give you away at night. And, of course, it has to have a matching pick to go alongside with it. Next up, we've got a water pipe for you, and this one's a silly one as well. It is a hot dog, basically. And, yeah, it's got relish connectors and the hot dog bun and painted up like one. It's just silly. And it's just one of those things that fits the goofiness of Rust. Then we've got a little bit more of a serious looking water pipe for you here. This one has kind of like a space foil kind of look to it, and it's the Space Tether water pipe shotgun. It does have a red tip to the sight there. And there's our reload. Next we've got a DB for you here, and it's the Pressurizer double barrel shotgun. Definitely has a very cool kind of handmade look to it. Always like those kind of scrappy looking things in Rust. And there's that reload. Next we've got an Ioka for you. This one comes in two versions, the regular whale or blue whale, and then a killer whale version as well, which you can see down in the descriptions link. Or the link in the description. Yeah, the descriptions link, guys. Then moving on, we have a python for you. This one's all sandy as it's part of the fossil set. Aiming down the sights here, you got a slightly less tan, or lighter tan, I should say, tip to the sides there. And there's that reload. Next up, we have a sap for you, and it's part of the Redemption set. Definitely a very cool version, and it has some cutout in the front, as you kind of see right there, as I'm aiming. Not too easy to see from the side. And as you aim down the sights here, it does have a red tip, so that's always a bonus for sure. Next, we've got quite a few more saps for you. The next one up is the Constructor Sap version 2. This time it has a less shiny kind of green to it and a more rusted and beat up version, which I say fits the game much more. Aim down the sights, you do have a very faint painted red tip still going on right there. Then we have the Acid Flow version 2, definitely very sleek looking, neat color, very warm kind of colors going on to it. Aiming down the sights here, you do have a black tip against the silver sights. Then we have the Sap Replica. Has this very beautiful, clean look to it, like it's brand new, fresh off of the line. Nice wooden grip and some red sights. Definitely a very beautiful skin. Moving on, we've got a very cool looking one. This is the Retro Sap 70s. Looks almost like an old Nintendo controller in a way, but it just has that old 70s kind of vibe going on. Fits right along with the retro kind of pack stuff that Rust has put in the past DLCs. Aiming on the sights here, you do have kind of just a little bit of pretty much just white on black there. Moving on, we've got a Thompson for you here. This is the Zikron Blue Thompson. Has a very nice kind of shininess to it, as you can see as light hits off of it. Aim down the sights, there is a very faint red tip to it. And there we go for our reload. Next, we've got another Tommy, and this one is the Tiger Stripes Thompson. It definitely has a very kind of like shiny look to it, which is different. Usually when you see these kind of like tiger or leopard print kind of things, they usually have a flat look to it. So this kind of gives a little bit more of a shine and a life to it, I think. Aiming down the sights here, you do have a red tip and a nice little tiger paw going on. Next Thompson here we have for you is the Lattice Thompson, and yeah, it's a continuation to the Lattice set. Has a nice kind of look to it that, I don't know, it's kind of like a future retro kind of look, I think. That's what I would call it. Aiming down the sights here, you do have a golden tip to go along with it. Moving on, we got some customs for you. The first one here is this beautifully carved out one, the Ink Dragon Custom SMG. Definitely a nice continuation in the set with some more beautiful art. Aiming down the sights here, you do have a little cloud carved into it and some very chrome tips to the sides. Next up, we've got another custom for you, and it is the Suprematism Art SMG. That we do have the AK from the set, so hey, maybe this one will pop on in and it can start to become an actually accepted set. It does have kind of like a bronze, brown, orangey tip to the sight to help you differentiate there. Next we have the Plasma Custom, and it has just a hot kind of lava plasma look to it. The rest of it's very kind of clean cut metal, even tempered little tip up front, and when you aim down the sights, you've got a nice red tip to the front sight. Moving on, we've got some MP5s for you. First one up is the Cleansed MP5. And yeah, it just has this really cool kind of futury look to it. Nice kind of gray, off-white, and red combo with the red is always a nice look with the chrome. Aiming down the sights here, you've got a cut sight, which is something, of course, to very much so pay attention to. Next, we've got another MP5 for you here, and this is the Color Explosion MP5. It has kind of like a wet oil kind of vibe design going on there with the colors. A little bit of gold highlights here and there. Aiming down the sights, you can see right there. And you're set to go. Alright, next up with our MP5, so we have the Soulless Legion MP5, and it has two versions. This one is a cut version, and it's not the sight that's cut, but it's actually the stock. It has all those crazy kind of spikes going on, and there's a couple other little holes here and there. Aiming down the sights, you do have a standard sight, but with a gold tip. And there we go with that reload. Next, we've got another MP5 for you. It's the Crystal Tree MP5. And as you can see, there's the nice little crystals, if it pops back to the tree there, that are right at the tips of the branches. Aiming down the sights, though, not really a whole lot going on. Kind of plain and bland. Do wish there was a bit of color or something else going on. Moving on, we have one last MP5. It is the Brutalist MP5, and the whole thing just looks like it has chunks of concrete thrown in there. It's definitely a cool little design, and it does actually look pretty visceral, I'd have to say. Aiming down the sights, it has very, very cut sights. I don't know if anything like this will quite make its way in, but hey, you never know. It's always worth a try, right? Moving on, we've got some SARs for you. The first one here is a continuation in Bad Trip's Ronin set, and it has that beautiful red versus black and white with little gold highlights, as you would expect from the rest of the set. Aiming down the sights, you have nice kind of red with gold, kind of tan highlight around it, I would say. Next, we've got a Croc SAR for you, and this one's definitely funny looking. It's got some teeth on the mag, some teeth on the barrel, well, kind of the barrel and the undergrip there. And aiming down the sights, you've got a crocodile tip with a nice red back sight. And as you can see, it's also stockless. So yeah, this thing definitely has a lot of unique properties to it for sure. Next, we've got another star for you, and this one's all gemmed up. It has all these gemstones going on for you. Whoop, and as we fire off right there, you can see it comes in two different versions, actually. There's a kind of pinky version, and this is the purpley one. You can check out the alternate version down in the description below. Aiming down the sights here, you have kind of standard gray, kind of shimmery sights, but not any difference to the color. And there we go with that reload. Next, we move on to our ARs, and the first one here is the Ninja AK-47 version 2. As you can see, it's all wrapped in, you know, that kind of stealth wrap, and then you have a nice little ninja star hidden in the side. As you aim down the sights, you've got these very crazy ninja face staring back at you, and some kind of tricked out sights with a little white tip, with the rest being black, and then some black tips to the backside there. Moving along, we've got another kind of tactical AR for you here. This one is the Arctic Special Ops version 2 by Ghost. Aim down the sights, you do have some red tips to it there, and as we pop a reload, you can see it kind of has a bit of an Arctic theme, of course, to go with the name there, with the camo, and then a bit of a polymer on the grips. Next up, we've got a very artsy looking one with the Monstera AK-47, and it just has these giant Monstera leaves all over the place, the various colors. Definitely beautiful. The rest of it kind of has a carbon chrome thing going on, which I think a lot of people would dig. And aiming down the sights, you've got a chrome tip versus the black. And there's that reload. Next up, we've got another AR for you, and this one has this cool kind of notebook that's been drawn on look. You know, they took a blue pen and they've been sketching their designs. It even has kind of like the hand smears, you know. If you ever draw on a notebook with pen, you know exactly what I mean there. Aiming down the sights, you have, of course, that notebook blue, or sorry, pen blue against the notebook white for the tip. And there we go for our reload. Moving along, we've got another kind of gemstone looking gun for you with the Fractal AK-47 version 2. This one also has two different colors. It has a white and this purple one we're showing you here. Aim down the sights, you have a black tip going on against the normal kind of iron sight. And there we go for our reload. Next up in this group, we've got the Pixel Decay AR, and it has that kind of nice little 8-bit with some color going on. Aiming down the sights here, you've got a nice red tip and a little bit of blue to the back sights as well. Last up, second to last actually, we have two more AKs for you. The AK-47 Signal. The whole thing looks like, you know, the signal loss in an old TV set. Definitely gotta love the idea with that. Aiming down the sights, you have a red versus black for the tips. And there we go for our reload. Definitely has a lot of a shiny glossiness to it as well. And our actual last AK is the Sulfur King AK-47. It's got a little bit of sulfur art on it, and then you've got some caution tape, and then you've got that smoking skull. Aiming down the sights, you've got some more skulls and a little bit of a drip of yellow paint for the tip there, and some rest in peace. There's that reload, and our last but not least, we've got an L96 with some very sick art on it. This is the Sea of the Dead L96, and you just have these kraken tentacles and the pirate skull. The whole thing is absolutely cool looking. Aiming down the sights, you even have a little kraken right there, and some gold highlights to go along with it. But that's going to do it, everyone. Sound off down in the comment section below which ones you're hoping for the most this week and why. And as always, thanks for watching, stay rusty, and have a good one.